my name's Amy and welcome to the start of a very autumnal weekend reading vlog. I haven't done a reading vlog in absolutely ages, but I had a new book turn up in the post yesterday and I thought it'd be a great time to vlog the experience of reading it. The book in question is one that I've seen all over social media recently, and everyone seems to agree that this is the perfect time of year to read it. And it is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. So for anyone who hasn't come across The Secret History before, it is the story of a young man called Richard who gets accepted into a prestigious New England school. He manages to get himself accepted into a very selective ancient Greek program in which there are only 5 other students. And the other point to note is that the book starts with a murder, literally on the first page. So I am a whole 30 pages in right now, so I can't tell you any more than that. I actually find it quite amusing that this book is so big on social media right now. I remember seeing The Secret History on the shelves in my high school library back when I was about 13 or 14. This would have been about the year 2000 or 2001, so the book had maybe been out 8 years by then. It is now in the position where the book is considerably older than quite a lot of the Instagrammers and YouTubers who are reading it this month. But as the blurb on the back of my copy says, it is truly deserving of the accolade modern classic. So it's only fitting that it's being picked up by a new generation of readers. In some ways, I am glad that I didn't read it when I was 13. I don't know how much of it I would have appreciated then. Now, when I'm in my early 30s and reading it, I am looking at it from the position of having done a classics and archaeology degree. Now, I'm not going to say it was anything like the rather rarefied experience of the characters in this book, and I didn't take any ancient Greek classes. But there are certainly snippets of Greek history and literature being mentioned that I'm appreciating now a lot more than I would have done when I was in high school. So like I said, I've literally only read 30 pages so far, but I'm going to keep reading over the course of this weekend and tell you my thoughts. I've also got lots of autumnal walking planned and some baking, so you'll be seeing some of that too. But for now, let's get into reading. It's now Saturday night, it's dark outside and I am sitting in this deeply unflattering lighting, but I wanted to do a quick reading update for The Secret History. I've got to about page 90 and What's really striking me about the early chapters of this book is a sort of feeling of dread all the way through. Now, funnily enough, it's not dread because of the murder, which we know is going to happen. It's more the fact that Richard, our main character, is getting involved in this group within the school that you really just don't feel it's going to end well. And he's consistently being warned by other people around him, and perhaps by his own intuition as well, that he probably shouldn't be getting involved with these people. But he's so desperate to be a part of this very exclusive society they've created for themselves, so he just can't tear himself away. And I think that, combined with the fact that the book opens with a murder, just gives you this feeling all the way through that terrible things are going to happen, and probably not just the murder. One interesting thing I'm noticing is that I recognise a lot of the classical references, probably more than I thought I was going to. It is over a decade since I did my undergrad degree, and I haven't returned to a lot of this stuff. But the names of the Greek writers and the historical aspects that are being referred to actually do ring a bell. And I was quite surprised by that. I can definitely see, though, that if you haven't previously studied any classics, this book would be incredibly intimidating. There are just so many classical references, and to a lot of readers, they probably don't mean very much. So even with all these allusions and references, this is clearly still a very popular book. As someone who really enjoyed classics, that's great. I think that's fantastic that people are enjoying learning more about the subject, and maybe this is a book that will spur people to go and read more about classics. The final thing I want to mention is that I am really enjoying the writing style so far. It's surprisingly pacey. There's some really nice descriptions all the way through, but the scenes don't linger too long and events keep moving relatively quickly. I particularly like Tart's descriptions of place, though. Some of those are really very evocative. I wanted to read you this one, which is from the first 10 pages of the book, where Richard is looking at a prospectus for the college before he's got there. And the pictures in this prospectus are described as radiant meadows, mountains vaporous in the trembling distance, leaves ankle deep on a gusty autumn road, bonfires and fog in the valleys, cellos, dark window panes, snow. Now that's a beautiful piece of writing, and as I said, it's really evocative. But what made me laugh is that it's just absolutely a dark academia Pinterest board. So I can see how this book has been so influential on the whole dark academia genre. I'm not sure it really had a name, or perhaps didn't even exist before The Secret History. But anyway, that is where I'm going to leave it for tonight. I'm going to keep reading this evening and tomorrow, and I will update you with more thoughts then. 200 of The Secret History last night, so I thought it would be a really good time to give you a few more of my thoughts on the book before I wrap up this vlog. The biggest thing that still stands out to me about The Secret History is the writing style. I said it before and I just keep coming back to it because it is so good. Literary fiction for me can often kind of walk a tightrope between being just too overblown and being a bit sparse. The best lit fic though has absolutely fantastic writing, and The Secret History falls into that category for me. It moves quickly enough that I never get bored, but also there are some really beautiful descriptions that add to this overall mood and tone, which is often quite a dark one. It's, as I've said before, quite atmospheric, but it also has some moments of humour which work really nicely. My one criticism at the moment is that because the book follows the school year, there are parts of some of the early chapters that feel a bit like they're coasting. I can see why the story had to be told that way. Books like the Harry Potter series do this sometimes as well. Time needs to pass between the start of term and another point in the year, say Christmas, but the author doesn't want to describe every single lesson between those periods. So you sometimes get scenes, and this happens in The Secret History, where we're just being told that time has passed and things have happened. Now, Tart does a really good job of keeping these engaging, but they're not quite as interesting as actually seeing the characters interact. And that was going to be my last thought on The Secret History. When I made a few notes for myself a couple of days ago, I felt that it was coasting a bit. I was definitely losing interest. And then I got to around page 200. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail about what happened, because whilst in some ways I was sort of expecting it, because I think I might have read some spoilers or very vague spoilers in the past about this book, but in case you haven't been spoiled yet, I don't want to go too into it. Basically, there is a major plot twist at around the 200 page mark, and it really changes the shape of the story. What's most fascinating to me is that the story starts going into a part of ancient Greek and Roman religion known as mystery cults. Now, I don't know if this is the only thing I'd seen that was a spoiler in the past. I've perhaps seen that mystery cults were mentioned, and because this was actually my specialisation at uni, I think my brain might have just put things together. If you don't know anything about them, perhaps don't actually look them up before you read the book, because it will make the plot that much more surprising. If you do have an idea of what some of these mystery cults contained though, you might be able to guess at the way the plot is going around this 200 page mark. It has definitely shaken things up though, and it is really very interesting to read. I cannot wait to see where the story goes next. My very initial thoughts from the start of this book though, and that feeling of dread, are really being played out. I think things are just going to get worse and worse and more complicated and messy as the book goes on. So those are my final thoughts for The Secret History. I have really enjoyed making this reading vlog, putting together all the footage of the autumnal things I've been doing this weekend, and also chatting about this book that I am really enjoying so far. Please let me know what you are up to this autumn and what you're reading. I would love some suggestions for future vlogs. I will be back with more videos soon. In the meantime, keep reading everyone, and I'll see you next time.